Today's video is about why protein is so important. So if you've been in the fitness industry, been training for a long time, had a personal trainer, read any article that you find on the internet, you would have probably heard that protein is one of the most important things when it comes to your nutrition. But why is protein so important? Well, I think we should start by getting a little bit of an idea about what it is and what it actually does, the functions that it performs within our body. Protein is one of the three macronutrients, as well as carbohydrates and fats, and it plays a massive role in loads of functions in our body. Within the fitness industry, the first thing you probably think of is the repair function that it has when it comes to muscles. Okay, so we've all heard that you train, your muscles break down, you get enough nutrients, plenty of protein in, and that will help repair the muscles. But there's also lots of other things that it does. It's responsible for the transportation of oxygen in the form of hemoglobin. Our skin, our hair, our nails, our gut wall, and loads of organs is made up of protein. In fact, after water, the second most element we are made of is protein. So you can see why there are so many coaches and so many articles lay so much importance to getting enough protein in your diet in every single day. So in the past few posts, we've been talking about weight loss. So why is protein even more important when we are on a calorie deficit? But what are we actually losing when we do lose weight? So there are three things mainly are excess water, body fat, which is what everyone wants. And unfortunately, when you're in a calorie deficit for long enough, you will lose muscle. So it becomes even more important now to have enough protein in your diet when you're in a calorie deficit. You might not focus on this at the very beginning so much, but as time goes on, you really want to make sure you're getting enough protein in to limit the amount of muscle you will lose when you're on a calorie deficit. For one thing, when we're going into a calorie deficit, effectively what we want to look like is slimmer, and most of the times I hear people say they want to look more toned. Now, if you lose too much muscle, whether you lose weight or not, you're not going to get that toned look you're after. So in order to get that toned look, we have to try and retain as much muscle as possible. In order to retain as much muscle as possible, we need to resistance train and get plenty of protein in our diet. Another reason is if we start losing too much muscle, the likeliness is that it's going to start affecting the health of our joints. Okay, if we've got less muscle, the less stable the joints are going to be, because you'll be losing muscle. Likely the joints will be getting weaker, and then you are much more likely to get an injury. Okay, so that's another pretty big reason why protein becomes so important, especially on a calorie deficit. One thing I've heard many people talk about in the past is how well an individual can tolerate calories once they've finished their weight loss protocol and they start bringing their calories back up. And some corners of the industry argue that if you lose too much muscle, the amount of calories you can then tolerate as you bring the calories back up are much less, meaning it's much easier to gain weight. I'm sort of in the air about this a little bit. I don't know. I haven't done enough research to find out whether that's true or not. I'm sure it is over a very, very long period, but I don't suspect that's something that we have to worry about so much if it's just for a short period of time. But it is something to consider regardless. And the final thing, as we mentioned already, well, your protein is responsible for loads of things in the body, okay? The health of your hair, the health of your skin, the health of your teeth, your gut health, your autoimmune function, transportation of oxygen. These are really, really important things when it comes to your health, everyone. So that is probably the thing you want to be thinking about the most. If you're not getting enough protein in a calorie deficit, you're depleted anyway. That's just another thing that your body has to deal with. So it's not actually good for your health in the long run. So try and get as much protein in as you can. Now, the reason I say as much as you can is because most of the time people struggle to get the right amount in. I've seen so many clients over the years, and that's one of the things they find the toughest is how much protein to get in, and what does it look like? How much protein should I be getting in, and what does that look like in real food? Okay, so just to break it down a little bit, you want to probably get about 100 grams in a day, because that's how much roughly an average person would use. And I'd give yourself a window of a little bit more than that, especially on days where you exercise and train, but also because we might run busy lives and move around anyway. So give yourself that window, and that will help optimize recovery all week round. A simple rule I try and give everyone is try and have a portion with each meal: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you're struggling with one of the meals, try and have it as part of one of the snacks. And it doesn't matter where you get it from, whether it's meat-based, fish-based, if you're a vegetarian, vegan, however you want to do it. It's a bit trickier if you're not eating meat, because the quantities of meat within different vegetarian foods are different. So you just have to check out the back of the pack and everything like that. But a good rule is about a palm size for about 20 to 30 grams, whatever it is, whatever it is. Some will give you more, some will give you a little bit less. However, I will share a document if you go into the notes at the bottom after this, I will share a document with you that gives you just an idea about what proteins you can get in from both meat, fish, and vegetable sources. Just want a small mention about supplements. I use supplements in the form of protein simply because with a busy life, I struggle to get the amount I require for my personal needs. So you guys have got to decide whether you feel like you struggle to get the protein in every day, and if so, would a good quality protein drink help you get that in? I think they're great. I think they work really well for some people. However, I would focus on trying to get it in food sources first, and then get a supplement if you really feel like you're struggling. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit subscribe if you did, and check out the link in the write-up if you are struggling for ideas with your protein. That'll give you a good few ideas, both meat and vegetables.